My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
And this is the Washing Up Podcast. And tonight it's...
Vagina Week.
No, it's Family Favourites Week.
I know, vaginas can be family favourites. We all mostly came out of them. And there was pies, and there was muffins, and there was pavs, which I hear is a regional New Zealand dialect as an innuendo for vagina.
It sort of starts a really interesting question, which a few people ask.
Oh, bro, I like cream on my piv.
If you've never listened before, welcome.
Aye.
So a few people on Twitter, I think Brittany was one of the ones on Twitter who asked the question, is family favourite really a theme?
Well, it depends. If you're in the Cadbury factory, it could be a theme.
It's family favourites. We're not sponsored. We can't sing the jingle.
No.
You know what my answer was?
What?
If Maggie Beer says it's a theme, then damn it, it's a theme.
It's a fucking theme.
Maggie Beer said it's a theme.
Look, it may not be the theme we wanted, but it's the theme we got because they couldn't say vagina.
It's the theme we deserve, really,
Yes.
isn't it, people? Now, before we get underway, I feel like I need to apologise to emergency wards all around Australia. You see, this week was the rather successful launch of the drinking game. Everyone's been talking about the drinking game. So I sat down the other day and I prepared 3 game cards, not knowing anything about this week's episode.
No.
Prepared 3 game cards.
And thank you for remembering my suggestions. And thank you to Chris for his suggestion.
Yeah, there were some really good suggestions. Robert had a couple of good ones as well, so thank you guys. Everyone sort of chipped in here and there. We had our own list. We've got more game cards next week.
However...
Funnily enough, I think one of the only options that wasn't selected was Verjuice. By the time we got 3/4 of the way through the technical,
need to worry about it.
I tweeted out once we got to the technical, about halfway through the technical, I went, so if you're playing along at home, I'm sorry, and if you can read this tweet, you're amazing, because we'd pretty much hit. I did a game count after the first round, and we had 2, 2, and 5 on the game cards. And for those who aren't aware, go to our Twitter or Facebook. There's some 100% unofficial Bakeoff drinking game cards there.
Unauthorised. It's like bootleg copies. You know, back in the 90s when you'd go and get your bootleg.
When you can go get your bootleg album.
Yes.
Your bootleg copy of something. So we put the game cards out, and I was looking through what they hit. The first card was actually the least. Matcha, Verjuice, and lime and coconut weren't there.
If you're lucky there, that's for the people, that's for the lightweights, that'd be mine.
If you picked game card 1, lucky you. If you picked game card 2...
is that the one with wildlife on it?
Yuzu was the only one out there who didn't
hit tonight.
Hit on that card, and that also included... outdoor shot of wildlife. Now, if you did that every time they hit wildlife tonight... You didn't see the showstopper, as far as I'm concerned.
Particularly when there was a shot. It started off, there's a kookaburra in the background, but you see this, like, water hen or something, and then they change to the kookaburra. I'm like, oh, you're fucked. Like, 2 shots quick.
And there were only 2 on the third game card that weren't picked up. So, basically, everyone's drunk.
Happy New Year.
Everyone who's listening to this
is drunk.
Probably drunk.
Yeah.
Couple of the bakers were drinking along at home. Yes. It was wonderful. Hey, Robert, how you going?
Although I did like Mel Buttle's suggestion, which if you don't drink, Cheezels.
Cheezels would have worked too.
Yes.
So it was quite the episode. So, and I was pleased this week. I didn't put innuendo. I put a Mel and Claire innuendo in there. I didn't put general innuendo. And
fucked.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got out of the first challenge. So the first challenge that we had tonight was 24 identical muffins, and they could be sweet or savoury. And unlike normal when they say that, people took the savoury option.
I know, Dave, you're my hero. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Because you put bacon on it.
Yeah, if you liked it, then you should have put some bacon on it. He listened to Robert's advice the other week.
Well, nobody didn't panic.
He didn't throw bacon at it by panicking. He just put bacon on it.
Maybe he panicked when trying to create it, like come up with his flavour profile. Went, oh, bacon. What have I been missing?
Possibly, but I mean, it was interesting because I mean, later on, as we saw when we got to the showstopper, Robert's pav, he panicked and threw everything but bacon at it.
But Dave and I also have something in common because he said, his better half just looks on in wonder when he, presents his muffins. And I have the same...
So Emma made hummingbird muffins, and they were wonderful. They looked. I liked the look of those. Actually, they looked pretty cool. I mean, they didn't necessarily go down as well as they looked. But
and the thing is, as well, if we remember last year, what's his face? I can see his face as bright as day. Stephen made the hummingbird cake.
Oh yes, on British, yes.
Hummingbird muffins. So it was good to see.
It was good to see some continuity.
Yes.
Michelle went with the pumpkin, sage, and goat's cheese, which was a fascinating combination, especially when, as Mel Buttle very loudly had to say to the whole tent, she put vanilla in with the goat. It was like, hang on, vanilla in with the goat's cheese.
I get it if you're doing it if you want it to be like a cheesecakey kind of cheese.
Yeah.
But pumpkin and sage and goat's cheese, I'm thinking savoury.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair, pumpkin, sage, goat's cheese and vanilla?
Well, Scarborough Fair's been taken over by the hipsters, so you never know.
No, that would have been kale, which was in the next challenge. We'll come to that. Marcus went with apple and plum.
Plum.
All his plums.
All his plums, indeed.
So
mixing his plums with his muffin.
Now Chris's... To be honest with you, I didn't get all of what Chris's was because I heard banana and tuned out.
And there was walnuts. I tweeted.
Possibly.
He nutted his muffin. He and
that's
Emma.
right. There was nothing. There was nothing involved.
He and Emma nutted their muffins.
But I heard it was a banana muffin. I just tuned out.
Yeah.
Again, one of the flavours I don't like. Banana.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's my failing.
It's
my failing, and I.
What about in a paddle pop? Because that's not actually a banana.
No, I don't.
It's like vanilla with yellow.
Unlike sort of vaudeville times, I won't have a banana. So Barb went with apple, carrot, and raisin. Now, speaking of people we need to have a word with, Barb.
1980s California called.
Yeah.
They want their muffin back.
Raisins. Barb. Raisins are what you put in things when you don't want people to eat them.
Because, okay, so my niece turned 6 this week. Isn't that so cool? I love it a bit. She's like my mini-me. And it's her birthday on Sunday. And I'm helping pack the lolly bags. And my younger sister's like, oh, we can't have too many sugary things in it because apparently sugar's uncool. They want to hype children up or give them, insulin issues in the future. And so there was, discussion of, dried fruits that could go in there. I'm like, no.
No, I'm sorry, but if
Never was a raisin girl, cornflake girl. Okay, it works for Tori Amos, but you don't want to be the kid that serves raisins.
Who, again... It's like we had this discussion...
I've got you back, Taylor. It's
we had this discussion the other day...
Chuppa Chups coming.
We had this discussion the other day, actually, with the gin and cake people who are the American... Great American Baking Show podcast people. We're going to talk to them in the next couple of weeks.
They're pretty cool. Check them out.
They're pretty cool. Have a bit of a listen. But they were talking the other day about raisins. We were all talking about raisins, and I'm like... And it was carob, actually, they talked about. They said about carob being a crime against humanity. I'm like, yes, no, we agree. Carob is a crime. For me, the parents who provide... And again, if you're one of those parents, I am judging you. Deal with it. If you produce show bags or bags for kids at a party that feature carob and raisins... Oh, dear. You don't like your child.
No.
You don't want your child to have friends.
Look, you're really undervaluing the importance of social networking in a child's youth.
You're also putting far too much stake in, making sure insulin levels are regular. And as a child, let it go flying. Kids run around. It's all...
it's all about taking the morality out of food. There are sometimes foods, and sometimes raisins are really fucking inappropriate.
No, that's an all-the-time food. Raisins are indeed an all-the-time food, in that all the time, no. So, moving on, before we really get on a raisin rant, but Barb, please never do that again. Claudia went with custard and stewed plums.
Ooh, she stewed her plums.
Ooh, her plums.
Ooh, her plums.
Now, you've already got to sing.
Oh.
It's my turn.
Hold up. What's going on here?
Oh, Robert's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day. And by works all day, I mean bakes all day, because he baked what he called lumberjack. I know, I didn't pay enough attention. I just heard lumberjack muffins. I was singing for forever. I assumed I assume that the muffins cut down trees, eat its lunch. They also go to the lavatory, and on Wednesdays those muffins go shopping and have buttered scones for tea, which sounds a bit like cannibalism.
It does. Cake on cake violence. We need to cut down on cake violence.
Yeah, you know what? We need to cut down on raisins and cake versus cake.
But he did
violence.
get to that. I like to pick wildflowers and put them on my muffins.
And the photo that was tweeted to go with that, Robert, that was glorious. Look at Robert's Twitter feed if you need to, or ours. It's there. It's wonderful. He did recreate the flowery decoration. Now that was an interesting one because it was about flavour and about sweetness, and he decided that he didn't put sweetness in there because he said that the topping would add a lot of it.
No, the topping wasn't sweet, and then the muffin would add the sweetness, wasn't it? Something
I
was
thought
going...
it was the other way around. The muffin didn't, but the topping was going to.
It's like a nitroglycerin effect.
Didn't quite work the way he thought.
It was nitroglycerol.
And the thing we missed out with Barb's, just quickly, because I was just thinking about it then, was that Barb didn't put a top on the muffins. She flattened them out and went with made her own muffin top, which was wonderful.
It was a separate muffin top with the cream.
No, yeah, she cut it off and then put the cream on top of it.
It was like a fairy
She gave it a plateau.
cake.
Gave it a plateau.
Wow.
She plateaued her muffins.
It's like new territory.
It is. Raisa then also went with carrot and pineapple, and we had scandal.
Pineapple?
We had scandal.
Oh, what was scandal? Oh, that's right.
Tinned pineapple.
Oh, no, you don't tin your... Oh, okay. First rule of going on to Bakeoff, one apply. Second rule of Bakeoff, don't use the tin shit, all right? This has happened
Unless your name is Olivia.
Oh,
she can do that.
She can do that, but you know that. But it didn't work in Great British Bake Off.
No, but it works there. Now, just quickly, I thought when Maggie went up and they did that little bit and they talk, oh, you know, what are your family favourite stuff and what is this and what's that? I thought when Maggie went up to Michelle, what she was really saying was, well, family favourites. Well, this should be your week, Michelle, because I love my family and apparently you're me. She sort of said that. She was sort of like, you know, oh, family favourites is your sort of week, Michelle. And in my head I'm going, Maggie's probably getting really sarcastic going, you're me. I like my family. You should love this. Why don't you love this? Why don't you love this?
Because if you're going to be Deputy Maggie, I have a certain level of expectations in how you should be engaging with your family.
I have a standard.
Yes, you can't be PM Maggie, or sorry, VPM. No, what are they called? Deputy. DPM.
No, DPM, no. VP Maggie. Yeah. So, Chris's were really good. Marcus's were the saucing on Marcus's. They actually had saucing.
It was a bit saucy. I thought that was a good idea.
And Barb's were moist. A word we heard a lot tonight.
And, you know, I said it on Twitter. I'm going to say it again. Calculated move on behalf of Mel Buttle, because everyone knows if you're going up to a steaming hot muffin with your glasses on, it's going to fog up.
Yeah, that's rules for beginners. Rules for beginners.
Yeah, glasses off, ladies.
Claudia's was also
gents.
Moist. So there was
everyone prefers a moist muffin.
Raisa's was quite sweet. Now Maggie Beer obviously had flashed forward in time, read the game cards, and then flashed back and decided to mess with us.
I know.
Because she turned around and she was like, you know what, that's not as savoury. And I'm like, Maggie, the card says not as sweet.
Yeah.
Not as savoury. 3 seconds later, she turns around and she goes, you know what? It's not overly sweet. And I'm like, bingo. Yes! So Maggie B hit that point. So after the first bake, card 1 had 2 drinks, card 2 had 3 drinks, and card 3 had 5 drinks.
Happy New Year to card number 5.
And as part of the celebration for the technical, Maggie Beer provided an essay. So normally when you get to the technical, they get things like with the pastry, it's like bake pastry or make a pastry or something really basic, or like make the mixture on that. It's bland. No. Maggie Beer went the opposite. She handed them an essay, which I'm quite sure it rivaled Old Man and the Sea.
It almost looked like a MasterChef recipe that they get on their nights when they're going up against the actual chef.
Where step one takes 5 pages.
Yes, exactly.
And that's just get a pan out of the cupboard.
Peter Gilmore's in the background laughing maniacally.
And Shannon Bennett's running around in front of them going, "You're right, yeah, you got it, yep, you got it, good, yep, you got it, we're going to win. So it was a chicken, leek and mushroom pie. What it doesn't say in there...
Kale.
...is kale. So kale became the talking point. A lot of people actually saying afterwards, you know what, this is one thing I might actually try kale in. Now, I'm still not an adoring lover of kale.
No, you've come to, how can I put it, a gentleman's agreement with the kale.
I know what I like with kale. There is one particular way I like my kale.
Yes, you like it baked, you like it with chili, you like it with
chili
oil.
and garlic.
Yes.
Chili, garlic, olive oil in the oven, baked so it's like a chip.
Yes.
Perfect. Fantastic.
People who introduce you to that, very nice people.
They are very nice people, and we may talk about those people a little bit later on.
But coleslaw with kale in it, like I'm okay with. I'm down for coleslaw, like it's coming out of fashion. But you kind of go, why'd you get the one with kale in it?
Why'd you get kaleslaw?
Because it's called kaleslaw. It is a bit annoying that they call it kaleslaw.
Kaleslaw sounds like a Batman villain.
Hi, I'm going after kaleslaw.
Was that Batman or was that the Pete Holmes Batman?
That's all the Batman you need.
I can do it so well with this voice.
I'm quite sure it's Pete Holmes Batman you're doing. It's not Batman. Yeah.
I'm really popular.
Okay, so we had some innuendos again. Barb, who's always good for a couple of these.
Doesn't like a leaky pie.
Don't want a leaky pie. Nothing like a leaky pie.
But you can track when you're going to have a leaky pie. There are apps for that.
Robert also followed that up with cracks aren't bad if I can patch them. And you're right, Robert. You know what?
Yeah.
A crack isn't bad if you can patch it.
And if you're skilled enough, you can patch the cracks so good you can't tell the difference and leave people very satisfied.
Now, Michelle put a hole in the middle of the pie and she said it was to let the steam out. My personal opinion on that was it wasn't to let the steam out. There is no other way for 4 and 20 blackbirds to escape.
Okay, I want to stop you there, right?
Go for it.
When I was a brownie, okay.
You're talking about like the female equivalent of like the Scouts, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You're not talking about when you were baked goods.
No, I wasn't baked goods. Or was I? Because
No.
Okay, we were starting a new brownie group, for Sydney City Brownies. You know, shout out to my peeps. There were 24 of us starting, so they decided, because it's a little ritual that they did, so instead of having us all like line up and whatever, they had us all covered in a sheet like we were 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. So yes, we were baked goods for our brownie porrimus ceremony, and one by one we had to exit these sheets, aka the pie.
I got worried when you said they had each of us covered in a white sheet. It was about to be a clan rally. Here am I going, Kristie, are you about to tell me you were at a clan rally? Is this where this goes? You weren't blackbirds. You were actually the opposite. You were a clansman.
Yeah.
Birth of a Nation, on the other hand.
But what really annoyed me is one of the last ones. I'm fucking, like, it was great at first because you're all in there and you're like, hee, this is great. And then by the end of it, you're like, I'm bored shitless. I'm surprised I didn't have a nap. Back at the actual pies.
So with the technical, Emma decided that she wasn't going to make it look good. She just didn't want to poison the judges. Now, I said that was a bad call. You know, make it look amazing. Who cares if you poison the judges? Like, they're going to know it was yours. Like, they're eating all of these chicken and leek pies.
Yeah.
It could be anyone's pie that makes them sick.
Someone just might have touched some uncooked chicken and wiped it on their egg wash.
You had the chance to make it look amazing and just blame somebody else for saying that maybe it was somebody else's responsibility and they poisoned the judges.
Okay, I'm going to just stop myself here. Why am I laughing at us possibly poisoning Matt and Maggie? Imagine if that happened.
Because we've got a backup Maggie.
Oh, we do, but we don't have a backup Matt.
I'm sure we can manage something.
Like what? Bring in
Mel can do impressions.
She can just whack a bald cap on.
By the way, once again, Mel Buttle.
Yes. Jumper game on point. Cardi's are on fire. And Claire's skirt game. Yes.
Bingo. Absolutely on fire this season. And we saw an example of this
Yeah.
when we suddenly got to what can only be described as the dance-off.
It was like dance interlude. Bake, 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 dance interlude.
And the GIF which Leah put out on Twitter.
Oh, brilliant.
It is life. And Mel's little twirl at the end of it makes it for me. It's spectacular. Marcus has brought the dancing to, apparently dancing is not a crime in the Bakeoff shed.
No.
So he's watched Footloose. Dancing is not a crime.
Ding, 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 ding. He's like the Kevin Bacon of the shed.
And then, no, but you know who was the Kevin Bacon of the shed, though?
Who?
The smooth moves
Of Robert.
of Robert.
I didn't know that the arm position was so you could, pull or keep someone away, which makes sense because if you're in the ballrooms and in the olden days, and
If you're in the ballroom and you want a bit more ballroom, you have to push them away.
It's like it's getting too bally in here.
So, and then we had the unveiling of the pies, and so many sweary canary moments. So many sweary canary moments.
Yes.
Now, when they pulled everything apart, literally they came apart. You had Barb and Roberts just
Disintegrate.
collapse, except the flavour was
It's
good.
good. Thank goodness.
And they didn't come anywhere near the bottom. They were sort of middle. Both of them, Barb was
Mid-league,
further
4 and
up than
5,
Robert.
yeah.
But it was the flavour was amazing, and that's what kept them. Unfortunately for poor Emma, who didn't collapse, but the flavour wasn't quite there. And so she probably should have just gone, well, bugger it, I'll poison you. This is what I mean. Raíces was wonderful.
That egg wash looks
Chris's
gorgeous.
looked amazing. Flavour didn't quite hit. However, Matt reserved one of the best bits of praise he's given in this series was reserved for this challenge.
Yeah.
When he said of Michelle's, that's almost professional.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And then Matt almost completed the Grand Slam on one of the cards by saying, this is pretty much perfect. You just needed a little bit more salt. Justifying again where he says, I can't fault this, and finds a fault.
It's like, wrong line, Matt.
It's a symptom. It's a symptom. It's an illness. It's an illness.
Yeah.
He can't help himself. He's like, I can't fault this. Let's find a fault.
No, but maybe he's like training to be a good teacher because, you don't, give people... You got to give them something to strive for. You got to give them... They can't just be perfect all the time. Just give
With
them...
that attitude. So...
Look, we can't all be you, Chris.
So Emma was at the tail end, unfortunately. Claudia was third. Raíssa was second. And Michelle was first. And a deserved first.
Hells yeah.
Michelle had a really good week this week.
Oh, yeah.
I was really impressed with the way that this went. And speaking of Michelle, we got to the showstopper, and the showstopper was the tiered pav. And they're doing all their work with they're cracking the eggs and separating the whites and the yolks. And Michelle got a bit of yolk into the whites, looked straight down the barrel of the camera, and very, very clearly went, "Fuck!"
Which makes me realise that this episode is essentially an ode to Sweary Canary.
It really is. It's
Pies,
a tribute. There was pies.
swearing.
There were pies collapsing and people getting upset. There were people swearing at the camera.
There was jumper games on point.
There was jumper games on point. This is like Fee's just sort of year redone.
The producers
they were
let's take a
shoe
moment.
pastry animals away.
Yes, that's all they needed.
We needed a shoe pastry
That's it.
Zodiac and we were fine. But I did see Michelle swear, and you know what? It filled me with some joy. I liked the idea that was sort of good.
I think he Maggie from the background going, "You can't do that on camera." What if people thought you were me?
I can't have that reputation.
No.
Now, the question I had to ask when I saw Claudia's was, do you like peanut pavlovas? Getting caught in the shed. Not gonna finish this song now, 'cause I'll rhyme it with head. Anyway, so it looked amazing. Claudia's looked really cool.
Yes.
And especially with the little decoration on top, which again I thought was a bit of an ode to Liv, because it was like plastic on top of it.
See, I thought it was an ode to Jezza. Because
The flavour was an ode to Jezza, and the use of plastic stuff on top of it was an ode to Liv.
yeah, and I was thinking, if the sugar work didn't pan out, she could have just chopped off the top of a pineapple, stuck it on top.
It would have worked. You
Would've
could have done
worked.
it. I liked Chris protecting his pav against shrinkage. And he made a very big point to say, I'm protecting against shrinkage. You don't want to take it out and then put it on the bench and have it suddenly get shrinkage. So he left the oven just slightly definitely a jar. We had the wonder that was Dave's clock beeping and he couldn't work out which one. I thought it was his internal clock.
He's like going, oh shit, I'm going to be found out here.
No, I thought that was the beeper that warns him he needs to plug back into the socket again.
It's running low.
Half an hour left in the challenge. Beep, beep, beep. What's that? It means plug back into the socket to finish off.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, look, Dave's progressing. Human emotions, bacon.
Yeah.
We've had.
And I liked how he had to go, look, I can't be perfect this week. I have to make my pav topple over a little bit.
Yeah, it was the equivalent of having an outfit disaster and putting a hat on.
Yeah, acetate to the rescue.
Normally that's the last thing you do to sort of like you put it on there and it doesn't work as a chocolate collar. Dave's like, it's falling apart. Quick, just wrap it in plastic.
I know. Like, it's like when you cook something and like half of it like just rips off the bottom and whatever, and you kind of patch it up. Like, no one will know. So I just put a lot of garnish around it. Let's just throw some acetate at it.
Well, Mel was giving that bit of advice tonight to poor Emma when she was looking at it and it's like bits of it cracking, and she's like, you know what, the good bakers just, I hear professional chefs just patch it with some cream. And she's like, that's what I'm planning on doing. Good. I won't tell. My lips are sealed. For a price.
We know where most of the offcuts went to.
We know where the offcuts vanished to. Mel's shown us that one before. So Robert, it was tricky going in because they made it really obvious that it was either going to be Emma or Robert.
Yeah.
And that we are at that point. It is Kill Your Darlings. We are at that point. And it was like going in, it was tricky, it was scary because it didn't really matter who was going home. It was going to hurt.
Yeah.
And Robert, you could tell when the chips were down, Robert just went for it.
Yeah, I mean, the pavlova piping, beautiful.
He threw everything except bacon at it. I would have thrown bacon at it still.
But mint pink are in.
Mint and pink are in.
Unless you're Maggie Beer, where mint and pink are out.
And I like the fact that of the two of them, it's Maggie Beer who goes no.
No. Not mint and pink.
So by virtue of that, Michelle is also against the mint and pink pavlova. But I know Robert's design was clearly somebody who looked at it and went, I need to stay in, I just need to go for this. Yeah. And he did a really good job of it. I loved his discussion when they talked about, everyone was doing that debate over who came up with the pav. Was it New Zealand? Was it Australia? And they cut to Robert and he simply goes, I don't care. And then he's like, I feel it's a bit like Russell Crowe, really, New Zealand, Australia,
who
cares, really? So, which instantly I started singing the Russell Crowe Fighting Around the World song from South Park in my head. It was a really mixed up week this week. It was a tricky week because
there's no clear standouts. And there's a few people in trouble.
No, exactly. Marcus,
it was a redemption round for Marcus because his pav with the passion fruit. Tonight. Oh, beautiful.
Marcus learned tonight. He went with simple.
He did.
He went with simple.
And beautiful execution.
And carried it out beautifully.
And how do you feel about his bench being clear, Chris?
I don't.
What a clean bench.
Look.
He's like, maybe this clean bench thing has something to it.
Marcus, your bench. We need to talk. You have provided hope and guidance and a role model that those of us in the kitchen who can't be asked to clean up while they cook, right? You are the standard. Thank you. You are the standard bearer of all that is wonderful for messy cooks, and your bench was fucking spotless.
And look, he did good bakes.
I can't live up to those standards.
Why are you trying to link your...
Because we don't see people like us on television. And in one TV show, this is why I love Bakeoff, in one TV show I've got a redhead and someone with a messy bench. Suddenly I'm being represented on TV.
Because it's very difficult for a cisgendered white man to find representation.
As Ben Folds once put it, you don't know what it's like being male, middle class and white.
No, I don't. I just feel the oppression of a woman.
Oppressed person. Tim Minchin once said, only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. I mean...
Well, you and Robert can just sit there and ginger away.
We can just sit there and ginger away. No, seriously, in all honesty, Marcus, mess your bench up next week.
Throw throw some flour at it.
Go back in time. Throw bacon at it.
Chris up.
Throw bacon at it.
Throw some bacon in it.
Throw some bacon at it.
A bit of like...
So in the judging, it was a bit of a mixed up week.
pretzels.
They said that as far as the judges said, as far as they were concerned, it was still Emma and Robert at the bottom. I won't lie. I thought Dave was really lucky.
Yeah.
They loved the flavour. The bit I was a bit confused by. They said that Dave put too much cream in his, and then said they loved the fact that it had that much cream. And then they said that Barb had too much cream in hers, and they didn't like that.
And it was messy. Good to finally hear someone call it messy, not fucking
I was
innuendo.
But I was a bit confused by that one. Because, Barb's held its own structure without use of plastic surrounds.
Yeah.
And they both had probably maybe a bit too much cream. But one of them, they went, they had too much cream, but that's wonderful. And with the other one, it was too much cream, and that's too much cream.
Yes.
It was just weird. I thought that Dave was a bit lucky.
I do want to point out that Reese has gotten better at managing her time.
Oh, Reese has looked amazing.
So pretty. She's very good with the decoration.
Yeah, when she has to really pull a bake out at some point, she really does a good job of it.
I was a bit worried she was going a bit flora on it, just too much.
And the person we haven't really mentioned a hell of a lot tonight,
Claudia.
And we have to, because,
she's Star Baker
again. It's... With Claudia, she just does it really well all the time.
We need to learn how to say Star Baker in German. She's got a German...
I'll ask Lisa.
Oh, Lisa will know.
So, but it was just a case of tonight with Claudia, everything she did. And I mean, look, Claudia seemed shocked she got Star Baker. They said, and they didn't do a big pause or anything. Star Baker this week is Claudia. And Claudia just looked and paused and went, thank you. It was a case of, wow. But there was no clear standout.
No.
This week. It could have been one of about 4 or 5, to be honest. It was a really
could have been
close.
Marcus. It could have been Racer. Could have been...
could have been Barb. Even with the fact that the first one, the pie fell apart, the flavour was good enough. She was on the cusp of it. So... The two then that were in the running to go home, which was Emma and Robert, and it was so close. And you could genuinely see it wasn't a case of, it's a really close decision. No, Matt and Maggie didn't have a clue. They were looking at, I don't know who we're going to send home. And I think the fact that she's come close a couple of weeks to going home possibly sent Emma home.
Yeah.
They do tend to give you occasionally you do get, if you've had 3 good weeks or whatever, and you have a stumble. If there's 2 people that have had a stumble and one of them stumbled a few times, they tend to give a little bit of leeway there.
Yeah.
So, but look, either one of them could have stayed and either one of them could have gone. And it wasn't that they were even particularly horrible. They weren't particularly horrible. It was just a really tight week.
But the good thing is, with Emma going home...
We get to talk to Emma.
We'll talk to her on the podcast.
So we can tell you that now, because a couple of people have been complaining that we haven't had our midweek episodes. I'm sorry, Chris, we were sick.
It's ridiculous.
I'll name you. I'll name you straight up, Chris.
Name and shame.
I will name Chris straight up.
I barely had a voice at the beginning of this week.
No, she's had a voice that's probably more suited to 0055 phone numbers.
Yes, this podcast was almost going to cost you $5.95 a minute.
So we are going to have a midweek podcast this week, and it will be Emma, and Emma will be coming on and talking to us. And we're really looking forward to getting to have a chat to Emma. That'll be really good fun.
Yes.
The other thing that's really good fun. Do you like the idea of us maybe talking around things that you've cooked?
Yes.
Because, we're good at this. As you see, we're good at talking around. We don't really talk about what you cook. We just talk around it. We make some silly jokes. Kristie makes some innuendos, or in some cases, not really innuendos, more...
I just say vagina.
...blatant comments using the word vagina or sometimes felching. Are you interested in having us talk about you? Are you interested in me making a game card where people play a drinking game to your exploits on television?
You can invite the whole family around for it. It could be a family favourite.
Are you somebody who tweets a lot about the Great Australian Bakeoff and maybe, just maybe, should probably stop posting photos of all the really awesome stuff they're baking and should maybe do something about this? Brandon, if you are, you need to apply for the new series of the Great Australian Bakeoff. The web address is bakeoff.castersugar, CASTASUGAR.com. So you need to put an application in, people, because this is fun. We like talking about this show, and it does help to have people on it.
Yes, it does, because an empty shed.
You know, when they walk in on the first day, when Mel and Claire walk in on the first day and go with their puns, if there's no one behind the benches, who's going to chuckle? Who's going to chuckle?
Yes.
They're not going to be able to make comments about Matt and Maggie when they walk out of the shed to anyone who amusingly goes, that was great. You know, so give Mel and Claire some people to talk to.
Think of the children.
Give us some people to talk about. Think of the children.
Think of the sponsor, Devondale. You know?
Think of Devondale. Hashtag you ought to be congratulated. So
I have to say, though, I think that their marketing's working, because I went to the supermarket today to get some milk, and I thought I will support the sponsor of the show. Went to get some Devondale milk. All sold out.
Well, I actually had someone at work the other day who asked me to get some scones and stuff like that for their birthday, and actually specified Devondale butter. And I just laughed, and they didn't get it because they don't watch Bakeoff and have no idea what I was laughing about. And I'm like, you sure you want Devondale? I'm like, yep. And as I walked up to go get it in the cabinet, I was like, hashtag you ought to be congratulated.
And you know what? Their sponsorship of this show, the marketing's so successful, even people who don't watch it want it.
Exactly. So, you know, they're sponsoring so well that you don't even see the show and suddenly you know about Devondale. It's almost like it's a broad product for the community. By the way, for anyone going, they're sponsored. No, we're not. We're really not. Seriously, we opened up saying it was Vagina Week. Do you really think we got a sponsor? So, anyway, please apply for the show. I think it's the 18th that applications close. So
yeah.
You've only got a little bit of time to get those applications.
You've got until I turn 38, because that's the following day. Just saying if anyone's thinking about birthday presents. Merry Kristie.
There you go. Kristie for everybody. Also, go and check out some of the Bakers videos.
They're great.
There's some absolute gems in there.
Yes, Chris shows you his.
There's some really kick-ass ones. Barb's is pretty cool.
Yeah. Emma.
So go on there. I saw Jess's today too. So
I haven't seen Jess. Got to see hers.
So yeah. So go and check those videos out, and then go and apply. You know, put your hand up for the show. You know, in Brandon.
No pressure.
No pressure. But we've now got all the bakers on this series saying to Brandon, you need to apply.
Look, you've got tutors. You've got your mentors. You'll be like their little Padawan. They're all Jedi, and Brendan comes in as the Padawan. Who's the Yoda?
Come on, you've always... Can I be Yoda?
Okay, you're Yoda. As long as I can be... what are these things called? Those little penguin-y things that are furry. They were from the recent one. You know, the one that Chewie went to eat.
The one that Chewie would have found Chewie.
Yeah. Those ones.
Anyway, answers to that on the back of an envelope. Yes. So, with that, we might let you all go for this week. I'm still Chris.
I'm still Kristie.
This has been the Washing Up Podcast, and we will catch you all midweek when we're talking to Emma.
Ciao.